It's not a doctor. Oh, I'm super racist against my own people too, just so you guys know. I'm also racist against you guys as well, so I should be canceled anytime now. Probably already canceled. So how do we prove value? That was a really long answer, Misty. We prove value by what? We have starts with a P.
Process.
We have a process that we follow every single time. It's called the buyer consultation. If you don't have a process every single time, how can somebody trust you? Proof pieces are part of the process, but they are not the entire process. We're all trying to shortcut everything in life. You know, I was sitting at the coffee shop and there are some gringos, some Americans behind me. And they're talking about how in the US, everything's so fast. Fast food, fast delivery, fast Amazon. I order an Amazon package. It takes a week to get here. By the time it shows up, I forgot what I ordered. I stopped buying stuff. Why? Because it takes a week to get here. Do I really need it? If I don't remember what I ordered a week later, what is that? It's called an impulse buy. So I put it in the cart. I let it chill there for about a week. And then I think about it. I'm like, oh, no, I really don't want to order anything from Amazon. It takes 5 minutes for a coffee, 7 minutes for a coffee, 8 minutes for a coffee, sometimes 12 minutes for a coffee. Coffee's so damn good. It's like crack. You can't rush the process. If it takes 12 minutes for a coffee to come out, how long should you guys spend with somebody to buy a house? On the first initial meeting. What's the minimum viable time that you think it takes for somebody to actually trust you enough to not ghost you?
I'd say 90 minutes.
Who said that?
I was at 15 to 20.
Sharon, I love you. I gave you a big fat hug and kiss. Who said 15 to 20? I'm going to put you in a headlock, throw you down a set of stairs.
How about half an hour?
I ain't buying shit from you in a half an hour. How long did you guys take for me to fucking sell you guys on joining Triz?
Hours.
Who said that?
I did. You remember it was like 3 hours.
3 hours.
Not long. I wasn't on the phone with you that long.
Guarantee you it was at least 60 minutes. What is it?
That was, yeah. So that first, the buyer consult or the appointments we were role playing earlier, out of town buyer. I'm not being an ass. This is a real question. That conversation to just kind of peel away and get the next appointment. You're saying we should be on the phone with them for an hour and a half?
No, you should be on a
I don't feel like
you should be on a Zoom with them for 60 minutes minimum.
Yeah, a Zoom, right, but that first phone
conversation,
call,
right? We're not talking about the first conversation. We're talking about
I thought you said the first call. Sorry.
And how long you said so your first conversation should not be over 14 minutes with an appointment booked.
That's okay. That's why my answers were that way, because I thought you said first call.
First call should not be over 14 minutes. If you're anything over 20 minutes, you're rambling about, you're skipping steps.
Great.
First call is discovery call, just to make sure that you can get the appointment. If it's 7 minutes, it's probably too fast and for most people, it's probably too fast. If it's 20 minutes, it's too long. Right? We need to be somewhere in that 10 to 15 minute range. Ideally, you're right around 9 to 10 minutes when you're game planning and framing them. Now, when you get to meet somebody, there's one thing that'll dictate, oh no, where did I put my thing? Oh, I hope I didn't lose something. So there's one thing that we need to do every time when we meet a client. Why would somebody ghost you? Come on, clients. Why would somebody ghost us? What do we not have?
They don't feel
That's
you didn't really trust you. You didn't make them curious enough. They don't feel connected.
It's probably because you don't know anything about them. Right? And the reason they don't feel connected to you is because you didn't connect to them. How many of you guys, hands up, use the word I a lot in your presentations? I do this, I do that, I do this. I don't give a flying about what you guys think you are. Nobody cares about you. If you use the word I, you better have a really good loop back up into why you think you matter in the process. I'm a great negotiator. Show me how. Prove it to me. How are you a great negotiator? What did you do? I got $25,000 off the last house. I mean, you got them down to market value because they were on the market for 90 days and they were overpriced. So you got them to market value, or did the seller finally realize that they were overpriced and they were tired of waiting and it was a Hail Mary attempt? Just asking. Sometimes our ego, if you guys ever read the book called A New Earth, like page 50 to 80 where it talks about the ego is amazing. Because our ego tells us we've done better than what we sometimes have done. And so the biggest reason why people don't commit, right? They want to wait. When we talk about inventory, market dynamics, right? Somebody said earlier, who here, when you guys talk about interest rates going down, prices going up, and a slew of buyers coming into the market, the buyer still goes, we're going to wait. How many people, raise your hand, have heard that?
I said that.
Better see a lot more hands going up. Right? Sharon was just brave enough to say it. But I talked to every single one of you, and every single one of you have the same commitment issues. Every single one of us have the same. Well, we told them about inventory and rates and market and pricing, and they still said what? We want to wait. Anybody else have that happen? Who here has toured homes and you guys have gone out 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 homes, and we had great conversations, we thought, with the person, but then the person won't even pick up the phone to tell us why they don't want to buy? Franz is smiling and laughing. He's either gaming or he's agreeing. I don't know. How many people here? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Why? The question we need to ask ourselves is, what did I do or not do that caused a person to not even want to talk to me after I spent 3 hours with them, 4 hours with them? I drove around town. Showing properties is not a value, just so you all know. If you confuse your value with opening doors, you are Redfin. If that stung a little bit, let it sting. It's not to be mean. It's to help you realize that the reason why people do not commit right now is because, like you all said, they don't trust you, and they don't trust you because you don't have a process, which is awesome because we can fix that really easily with a process. You are going to spend about an hour to an hour and a half with people on your first sit down meeting with them. If you're in person having coffee, it's probably going to be 90 minutes because there's a little bit more getting to know you in that phase, right? There's a little bit more, you're in person. You can't, you can jump right into it, but things just lend to a little bit longer when you're sitting coffee belly to belly. If you're over Zoom, it's going to be about 60 to 75 minutes. But what do we talk about for that much time? The buyer consultation. So we don't want to open doors until we open the emotional door. Everybody understand? We don't want to open doors physically until we open up their emotional door and we have them locked into us as their agent. Now, back when we sold real estate, we never had people sign buyer agencies. And we didn't have any, like, we rarely had people leave us. Now, we would have people say, hey, right now is not the right time to buy. We looked at the properties and we go, well, tell us a little bit more about that. Let's go grab a coffee. You know what's so great about sitting down with somebody the first time? Is that every time you now want to sit down with them, what do you think they're more open to doing? What do you guys think people are more open to doing if your first conversation is a sit down meeting?
Meeting
They'll
again.
sit down with you again.
And every time we have a crucial conversation, what should we be doing with the prospect?
Taking notes.
Setting another appointment.
Another appointment. I'm just going to assume that we all take great notes. I'm going to assume we all take great notes because we are learning about people. So I'm going to assume we all care enough about the people that we take notes on them. It's probably a bad assumption to have because most salespeople are horrible at note taking and putting the notes into their CRM. But I'm going to assume that you guys do that. If we need to spend a whole hour on note taking and how to enter into the CRM, tell me and we can do that one of these Tuesdays. It'll probably be a good hour. But I will assume, and I will make an ass out of myself, that you guys are taking notes and you guys are putting them in. And just so you guys know, man, I don't know where all of my stuff is at today. But this little binder that goes everywhere with me, I have a couple different notebooks that I travel with. Scratch this person's name out here. Not that you guys know who this person is, but every time I take a call, page of notes, 2 pages of notes, 3 pages of notes, 3 little pages of notes. And then there's another guy with 3 pages of notes. And then my Fathom note taker has AI built into it. And then we have a chat GPT that we've built that we can put the transcript in and get more notes out of. And in our CRM, our GPT goes automatically into it. So if a salesperson on my team, a sales manager, if I die tomorrow and get hit by a bus and become brain dead, the notes live on about that person. And so when somebody on my team calls you back in 6 months, they know exactly what happened on the call. How many of you guys do Zoom calls, but you don't have a note taker in there? Let's change that. Go pay the $25 a month to get a note taker. And it automatically just shows up into your Zooms. I'm not note takers. But would that be beneficial if you guys had something making sure you doubled up on your notes?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go back to the overarching goal. How many of you guys don't feel very confident asking people 10 to 15 minutes questions about why they're looking to move in real life? How come? TJ,
I feel like if you're moving for work, that's basically the point.
What was it, Jess?
I said, I feel like if they're moving for work, there's no like deeper meaning. It's just like they got relocated.
Well,
But if they couldn't find a place to live and then they couldn't take the new job, how does that affect them and their family?
And not only that, they had to make the decision. Maybe they gave them a choice. They had to make the decision if they were going to accept the change or not. So something drew them to whatever location they're looking at.
True.
Why did they take the new job?
More money, probably.
I don't know. The minute you put probably behind your statement, what does it tell you?
You're assuming.
You have questions to ask.
Y'all can either play the guess game or you can play these people are my client for life. Who wants clients for life?
Me.
If you stay surface level with somebody, do you think you have clients for life?
No, you have people that are relieved that they got their house purchased or sold, but weren't really that committed or to you, don't want to worry about using you again.
Most agents are transactional. Why? Because we don't ask questions. TJ, why do you feel awkward asking questions about people?
I'm not sure that awkward is the right word, but I get impatient and
Okay.
I rush through it. I'm working on it, but
No,
it's,
it's
I just
good.
have this.
I feel that. Oh,
Internet.
Yeah, I like to that. So I rush through it.
Okay. Who else rushes?
I feel that too.
Me.
Sure. There's
Sometimes-
been
It's called
Sometimes-
ADD.
No. it's
sometimes
not.
Vic's silence makes me uncomfortable. Sometimes your long pause of silence makes me feel awkward because I'm so used to the same as them, like just
But
Ask
isn't
a
it
question,
just
get
our
an answer.
personality? I mean, like me, I'm extremely high D. I'm like, just like TJ, I'm like, okay, let's get to the point. Like, let's get to it. You know, like when people talk to me and they're like super slow and I'm like, oh my God, can you just get to the point already?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you guys are now personality experts and we're selling off of personality now. Gotcha. Just checking here. I don't think anybody's a higher D than I am on this call. I'm like 98% D and everything else is like on the disc doesn't exist. You might be right up there with me, but I don't know that you can be like any higher. How many of you guys spent more than 60 minutes on a call with me? Did I rush you? Did I let you know that I had 3,200 emails coming in per minute and 1,700 Slack messages? Or was I there present with you the entire time?
I think that for some of
Hold
us,
on, let me finish. Hold on, it's my microphone.
Good.
I let you guys talk.
Good.
Hold on, calm down. Let's just sit in some uncomfortable silence for a second. Your personality selling. And we use that as an excuse to not get better. Well, I feel like this person would want this and that, and this is what I would want. And because this is what I would want, and this is what I think I want, we're going to allow that to become our crutch to not follow the process. My dad's probably a higher D than I am. The dude is so impatient. But when somebody sat down to talk to him about a $200,000 kitchen, let me tell you, he listened. But he asked one question, the sales guy got uneasy and he started rushing the process and he lost the sale. All the guy had to do was take a deep breath in and answer the question and then keep going back to what he was doing. And my mom would have had the greatest kitchen ever in the world. And I tried to help him. He got nervous because he knows my dad for a long time. And he knows that my dad's a high D. What happened when he broke his process, or maybe he never had one? My mom still got that fucking kitchen that she's had for 30 years that she's been trying to replace for 14.
What about when they rush you?
What about when they rush you? Then maybe they're not your client. Hey guys, I get it. You might want to just get to the point because most agents probably that you've worked with in the past do what? They run out, open the door for you. They write a whole bunch of offers. They ask you, what do you want to put on paper? They don't really explain the process to you because they don't understand the process. And then what happens? Everything either goes super well or it doesn't. And everything's great until Mike Tyson punches you in the face. So is it okay if we spend a little bit more time to slow down so that I can walk you through step by step what needs to get done and how we operate? And so that if we decide to work together, we're all on the same page. Is that okay if we do that? It'll probably take about an hour. Well, we don't have an hour. Cool. How much time do you guys have? We have 45 minutes. I can make it happen in 45. But if you guys have questions at the end, I just want to let you know, most people, when they see the process laid out, have a lot of questions. Can we rebook in a second time before we start looking at houses? Because we have a phased approach that allows us to get clients the first home that they love, not the fifth home that they love. And this is what allows us to get you the home that you want at the price that you want and the terms that you want. Is it okay if we slow down? And if they say no, I say, great. We're probably not going to be a great fit. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. If things don't work out for you, you know how to get a hold of me. We're going to have to go through this whole thing again. Or I wish you guys the best of luck in buying a home. And I am okay walking away. Because who controls the process?
You do.
If they control the process, what do they see you as?
Not the professional.
Redfin. You just call it Redfin. Just Redfin. Just say Redfin, you guys. Because you all hate Redfin, right? Who here loves Redfin?
I like
Who
them
here
better than
who hates Redfin? I know you all do. The reason why we feel rushed, TJ, is because we're just not well versed in the process. We need to slow down and practice more. I never feel rushed when you guys get on a call with me. Hey, could you just get to the point? Well, I could get to the point, but I don't know which point I'm going to get to. What do you mean? Well, I don't even know what you're fucking looking for, man. So like, I don't know, what do you want? What do you want me to talk about? Biking? I love biking. I could talk about my bikes all day long. Or do we want to talk about your gaps in your business? No, we want to talk about my gaps. Okay, cool. So I'm going to need to ask some questions. It's kind of like a first date. And then if I don't feel like what we do would help you, we'll end the call early. If I do, then we're probably going to take the whole hour plus some. Because this is important for you to fix, right? Yes. It's important for you to buy a home, right? Yes. At the price that you want, the terms that you want, the location you want, right? Yes. Cool. And then you go right into your next question, and you don't even need to acknowledge their thing, because oftentimes people will press you to see if you're confident in your stance. By the way, we've done over 1,000 buyer consults. We might have had 14 people say, oh, we bought homes before, we don't need to do this. Okay. Have you bought a home in Seattle? No. Have you bought a home in a multiple offer situation? No. Have you bought a home with interest rates rising? No. Have you bought a home that was at this price point before? No. Okay, cool. So is it all right if we just slow down a little bit? What are we going to do? Well, why don't we find out? And I smile and I laugh. And they go, and then the wife will hit the husband. Honey, shut up. Listen to him. And I just sit there. I'm like, do you guys want to talk about whether you want to do this or not? I got to use the restroom. And now I'm going to be a dick. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go to the restroom and come back 5 minutes later. Why? Let them talk and make sure they want to be there. Because if they don't want to be there for that, Sharon, what's going to happen when you guys start showing houses? Are they going to be good clients?
They're not going to show, or they're going to get squirrely, or they're going to,
They're going to be late to everything. They're going to run you around town and want to see every property in the world. Why? Because you gave them the permission to own you. All right, so the first thing you always have to do is you have to be okay being cool, calm, and collected. Buenas. Gracias. Overarching goal. I was curious as what was it about the home? What was it about our conversation? Tell me more. How would a home like this be different? Why is this important for you guys now? How long have you guys been going through this process for? This blah, blah, blah. Has that had any impact on you? Sounds like you guys have a great home. Why are you guys even thinking about changing your location at this point? Tell me more about that. Cool, you're relocating. Why is it important for you guys to be in this neighborhood versus that neighborhood? Why is it important for you guys to buy versus rent? What's important about X, Y, and Z? Tell me more, right? The home that you want, the price that you want, and the terms that you want. Write that down. Everybody write that down. My job is to help you get the home that you want, the price that you want, and the terms that you want. Now, some of you are going to say, well, Vic, we're in a multiple offer market. They're not going to get the price that they want. Yes, they are. Because they're going to write the offer and they're going to sign it, which means they got the price that they wanted. You might have to help them negotiate upwards, but they're still getting the price that they want. Why? Because the price today in that market is cheaper than the price in 6 weeks. Does that resonate with y'all? Some of you are like, oh shit, I guess that makes sense. Because the price today is going to be the best price. Why? Because they're looking today. And what a seller takes and what a buyer accepts is the price that they want. Because they accepted the offer. Okay, the company, right? You guys don't need to talk a lot about your company. Literally, you guys should talk very briefly about your company. The whole purpose of the company page is to show them that you guys are with something reputable, even if it's small, local. That's it. Move through it quickly. Now we need a proof piece. Where you guys labeled the case study, right? You need to have a case study. Why do you need a case study? A case study shows that you're an expert without you saying I'm an expert. So if you want to show somebody, like let's say you guys are working with my avatar, which is a lot of Indians, and Indians love negotiation. Well, you need to show somewhere in the case study that you were able to negotiate something, right? If it's multiple offers, Vic, how do you show that you did a good job on a multiple offer situation? Well, you show that there were 16 other offers and you won. Maybe you're financing a property, your clients were financing, you're beating cash offers. Is that a negotiation? Yes. Maybe on the inspection, there was some dry rot and you got it fixed. Is that negotiation? Yes. Right? Negotiation might also be keeping a buyer in line. Because do buyers get squirrely over small things? And so you might be negotiating with your buyer to stay on the hook, and then you could show them that the house sold for $400,000, and then 2 months later, the Zillow estimate showed $420,000. They walked into $20,000. They walked into $20,000 of equity in a 2-month period. Why? Because I was able to help them see that this was a good move. Is that a negotiation? Right? So you have to find what you can play with your cards in your market. Right? But you need a case study. A case study is a 1-page artifact with a picture, an address, a couple of bullet points, and then an explanation, a story that you tell. Okay? After your case study, we talk about agreements and power players. I'm not going to talk about it because we've spent a lot of time on it, but there's 3 agreements right? The listing agreement, how the seller hires a buyer, an agent, the buyer's agreement, how the buyer hires an agent to protect them, and the purchase and sale, which is the offer, correct? But now we start talking about the seller universe. How many people talk about how many of us, we've talked about this before, but how many of us talk about off-market properties? And we use off-market properties because we saw some internet advertiser a few years ago put off-market properties, and we thought, oh my God, that would make sense. And they got hand raises. So now we think that every seller, every buyer wants off-market properties, right? But what does a buyer actually want? Have we ever thought about what does a buyer actually want? Think about it. What does a buyer want?
To get into the home that they want, for the terms that they want, and, you know, the price that they want.
Yeah, they want a home that meets their criteria, right? That's what a buyer at the end of the day wants, a house that they can make a home, right? Where the home comes from, they're less concerned about. But they need to know that we are marketing on their behalf. And the way we do it is through the seller's universe. We have active sellers, we have passive sellers, right? We have active and passives that we know and we don't know, right? Now, we don't have to spend hours on this section. We just need to show them that we know that there are people that are on the market actively selling, and there's people that are off the market actively looking to sell. And there's people that we know about, and there's people we don't know about. And the people we know, they're easy to find. The people we don't, they're not. And the people that we don't know, there's a huge opportunity to work with those people off market. Who here's done an off market deal before? Okay. Who here has never done an off market deal? Cool. For those of you who've been around longer time, do most of your buyers find something on market or off market? On market.
On.
Right. On market. But they don't realize that there is stuff off market, and they don't realize that there's opportunities there as well. So we just have to talk about it for a few minutes. Super simple. 4 quadrants. Bam, 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 bam. You just take a piece of paper, right? You just take a sheet of paper, and let's see if we're going to be able to share the iPad today. No iPad? Oh, why is it not working? So here's what you would do. Right, you don't have to get fancy, y'all. I think sometimes we think we need to be super fancy, but we don't. All you got to do is get a piece of paper, and you can put a line like this, and you can put active, we know, active, we don't know, passive, we know, passive, we don't know. And you can put one thing here, one thing here, one thing here, one thing here. And do you think that that would impress somebody? What do y'all think?
Yes.
Yeah. Y'all, it's crazy. We don't have to get super technical. That's all you have to do. 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's how we find the buyers in the sellers in these areas. Would you want and here, write this down. Do you want your agent actively marketing in each quadrant for you? And they're going to say, yeah, of course. We want to, because what do they want to do? Why are some people non-committal? Do you think some people are non-committal because it's possible that they feel that the agents aren't out there looking at everything for them.
Yes, they think we're doing nothing.
Right, because we don't talk about what we do, because we don't want to study a process. Because we don't study a process, we show up, hey, let's talk about the house. Forget the house. The house doesn't matter. The process to find the house is more important. So that's called a tie down question, right? You need 4 or 5 tie down questions throughout the process, right? So now we've gone through the 4 quadrants, right? We have a VIP access program. Okay. So we talk about how we manufacture the listings, right? It also ties into the 4 quadrants. And then we talk about, so we have the right marketing, we have the right scripting to have these conversations, because finding a home is different than actually getting one to open up. We have a way to harvest information and manage it. And we have the processes to help get you into it. Do you think that would be helpful? Yes. Then we have the systems powered by humans. The reason why we want to talk about this is because they think that technology does everything. Who here's had a buyer say to them, well, we don't really need you to find the home? Right?
Right. They find it on Zillow or wherever. Yeah.
Finding the home is easy. Is finding a home easy? I mean, like 90% of people are going to buy a home on market. That's why we all sell FSBOs. What? Well, we know that after about 3 months, you're going to go on market if you're serious, because most people aren't looking for FSBOs because the market doesn't value FSBOs and they don't know how to find them. Yes or yes? So then if that's the truth, then now we need a system powered by a human. And here's the thing. If one of these systems break, we're not able to find you the seller that you're looking for. We're not able to get the data. Now we talk about the everyday average agent. Here's why you guys get ghosted. Because we don't know how to talk about the everyday average agent. Right? We don't know how to talk about the average agent. But if we can't talk about the everyday average agent in a way that's respectful, that doesn't talk down on them, then we don't have a way to differentiate ourselves. But you can't talk about the everyday average agent until you've already differentiated yourself. Because that would be weird, wouldn't it? Psychologically, the person in their mind would be like, well, you haven't shown me what you've done differently. And so now the person's feeling awkward. So now we talk about the systems powered by human. So here's what, most people do. They put you on a drip campaign. Now we know as experts, how many drip campaigns is the average buyer on when they close on a home? How many? Double digits. So when you guys talk to them, you say, so what the average agent's going to do is probably put you on a drip campaign. You're probably already on 10 already, aren't you? You probably have campaigns coming from Zillow and Realtor.com. You probably got a couple from a couple of websites because you guys went to some open houses. And they're going to go, what? Oh my God, you're right. And the minute they nod their head, you guys are in alignment. You guys are in alignment. Who likes alignment? Chiropractor aligns you. So you're not walking around like this. Aligns you. They don't pop your back, they align you. When your car's out of alignment, you wear the tires down. You drive off, the cop pulls you over. Hey, you've been drinking? No, my car's out of alignment. When you don't have a process, you're out of alignment with your buyers. And that's why they ghost you. That's why they don't commit to you. Yes or yes? Making sense? Okay. So now we give them a reason why, right? Okay, so now we call this, of course, marketing. Of course, they're going to put you on a drip. Of course, they're going to do this. Of course, they're going to do that. Of course, everybody's going to do this, right? Like, this is the basic minimum standard. But in a market like this, do you want somebody doing the basics or do you want somebody doing above and beyond? Well, no, we want somebody doing above and beyond. How come? Well, because the last thing we want to do is buy a home when we've missed out on the opportunities that we thought we could have bought a home with. Oh, has that happened in the past before? Yes. Tell me more about that. Now they share an experience of how they bought a home and then something came on the market and they had buyer's remorse. But when you buy a home, there's not really a lot of opportunity for buyer remorse, is there? When you move into that house, you pretty much moved into that house, yes or yes. So now you get to what? Flesh out their fears prior, right? We flesh out their fears prior to asking for a commitment. Okay? So we have to study. Then we talk about the 4-phased approach. Phase number 1 is what? Education, financing, timelines, home goals, and how to start searching in a more efficient way. Where do most buyers start their, what phase are most buyers in when they start? If you just look at the screen, what phase are most buyers in when they start? So whose job is it to slow them down Only 2 of you guys saw that most buyers start in phase 2? Only 2 of you guys saw that? Okay.
Yeah, that's how we get those calls because they're like, oh, I want to go see this house on this address that I found on Zillow or Realtor.
And
then you have to go
run
back to
and
the
show
beginning.
it to them. And
No, I don't.
You guys run and show it to them. You run. You guys burn rubber to get there as fast as humanly possible. Because if we're the first person to show them a house, they might actually work with me. That's just not the case because that house they don't buy. But the minute we show a house, we've now gone into the search phase and you've now become a search and show agent. And the minute you become a search and show agent, now you're trying to reverse and go into a different gear to go back to phase 1 because now this buyer is out of control and they're spiraling everywhere and they're driving you crazy. And it's not because buyers are liars, it's because we didn't follow our process. Buyers are not liars. They just don't know what they want. Why? Because they haven't been in homes, they haven't been sat down, they haven't been educated. So we go phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then we talk about phase 4, the closing phase, right? Now, contract phase is where you guys actually make your money. Because when does a deal fall apart? It can only fall apart in phase 3. Because phase 1 and 2, there is no deal. That's controlling the prospect. But phase 3 is where there's a contract now. Now that there's a contract on the table, right, now it's emotional management as well. You have to manage the seller's emotions, the seller agent emotion, your buyer's emotions, right? There's a lot of emotions that you're managing. Sometimes you get these dumbass lenders that say dumb shit to your clients. And you're like, what in God's name would propel you to say that? Like, what do you mean? It's like, why would you say that to the buyer? Anybody ever have a dumbass lender say some dumbass stuff to your client? And then you have to manage that client and bring them back down to like reality of why they're actually looking and working and doing the things that they're doing because a lender said something that they didn't even realize. all the time. All the time. Or you get a lender who's not responsive, and now the buyer's starting to get emotional because they're getting emotionally charged because they have a financing contingency that comes up in 14 days. And they're like, Vic, we just have to walk away. We have to walk away. It's too much. It's too risky. You have to get them to breathe, and then you have to take them to your other lender. You have to work with the lender, get all the paperwork, get all the documents, everything over again. Deals only fall apart in the third phase. And then the fourth phase is the closing phase, right? Anybody ever gone to a house on the day of closing only to find that there was a dumpster in the living room? Like legitimately, there's a dumpster outside of the house full of trash that the seller was just going to leave. And the other agent was like, well, it's not my responsibility. Like, awesome. And now you're fighting like 45 minutes before the keys show up. Or you walk into a house the day before and the kitchen's flooded because a pipe exploded because it's winter, right? Do we talk about that stuff happening? No. And so we don't talk about it. What does the buyer think? Everything is what? Hunky-dory. But you have to bring these things up. Yeah, during the contract phase, during the closing phase, here's how we help our clients. Do you think that that might be important for you? Like imagine you guys walk into your brand new house, you're super excited, and there's a pile of trash. Or imagine you guys walk in, you go to turn on the dishwasher and it explodes because nobody checked it. Because the other agent was so concerned about getting a commission or they were part-time, they didn't even know to check it. Well, that's why we have our closing checklist. And this is what our team does prior to closing and taking possession so that you're protected. Do you want to be protected when you buy a home? Oh my God, yes. Do you want to make sure that the appliances are there when you show up? Oh my, what do you mean? Well, sometimes people just take things that they don't need. The mover just moves everything. Seller's already in Nantucket. The mover just grabs everything. Fridge is gone, washer, dryer's gone. And once you sign the paperwork, like the seller's off the hook. Did you know that? No. Oh, well, do you want an agent who has a checklist? And then you just pull out a Google Doc checklist and you show them your checklist. And what have you now shown them? Certainty, trust. And it's just a Google checklist with like little check boxes. How many of you guys have a checklist for closing? You ain't winning my business. You ain't winning my business. Just telling you. Your builder has a checklist. The inspector has a checklist. Why does the realtor not have a pre-closing checklist? You just go to ChatGPT and ask it, what should I need to know to make a pre-closing checklist as a buyer's agent on a real estate transaction to protect my buyers? All you got to do is just print it up. Take it everywhere you go. Have a little manila file with you. This is why buyers ghost us, is because we don't have process. This is part of the sales process, is protecting the client. Yes or yes? From there, we've already built the emotional gap. We're just going to tap on it again. We're just going to tap on it because we gave them 40 minutes of logical stuff, right? But we've tied in all the logic to the emotion. But we got to go back and open that emotional gap one more time. So based on what you mentioned, you said you wanted to be blank because of X, Y, and Z, correct? Right? Yeah. If something happens and you don't get there, and I know we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but just want to make sure that I'm crystal clear on your goals. Do you see how we have to bring everything back to the overarching goal? Because do you think that they forget about why they wanted to move in the first place? Like that emotional feeling? Do you think that they sometimes forget? And do you think it's very easy for them to go back into their logic, their fear-based brain? And they go, well, you know, and then you have your timing, your economics, right? All of the logical stuff again comes in the catalyst home, right? And then you talk about pricing strategies. Is there any way that this buyer is not working with you? Now, we lock it all in to the presentation, right? Before we asked for the commitment, we lock it all back down. But when we talk about pricing, we talk about timing, are people going to sometimes say, well, we want to wait at that point? Isn't that where they would ask the question and show you the concern when you talk about timing and economics, market dynamics? Would that be the place in the presentation where those concerns would come up? Yeah. You could ask people, do you have any concerns about timing the market? Do you have any concerns about interest rates? Yes, we do. Tell me more about that. Well, we think interest rates are going to come down. You're right. At some point they will. When do you think they're going to come down? Well, we think they're going to come down in 12 to 24 months. Cool. What do you think is going to happen if interest rates come down? Well, we're going to get a better price on our mortgage. Why do you feel like that? Well, because if rates are lower, we buy a $500,000 home, then our price will be lower on our payment. Yes, if we live in a bubble. What do you mean? Well, if you live in a bubble, that would make sense that if rates came down, your mortgage payment would also come down. But unfortunately, we don't live in a bubble. And so if rates come down and a slew of new buyers come in, what do you think is going to happen to supply and demand? I don't know. Well, it's like basic economics. If there's more buyers and the same amount of homes, where do you think we're going to end up with pricing? Well, I guess it'll go up, right? So what will happen to your mortgage payment? Will it stay the same, or will it go up, or will it be the same as it is potentially right now? Well, I guess we never thought about that. That's why we sit down with everybody prior to showing homes, because it's my job to help you make the best decision, to buy now, to wait, or to buy in 6 months. So if rates come down, more buyers come up, inventory stays relatively the same, what happens to pricing? It goes up. Is that what you guys are looking to do? Well, no. So if you believe rates are going to come down, and we know that there's a lot of buyers just like you on the sidelines, do you want to be in front of them? Do you want to be competing with them, or do you want to be behind them after prices have gone up? Well, no, I want to be in front of them. Why? Well, I want to get the best deal on the home. Oh. So would it make sense for us to possibly start looking now? And then if rates do drop, you could refinance and you get the equity. Well, that does make sense. Why would that make sense for you? And do you see how you tied that up into a nice knot? Well, we also need to sell our home, though, in order for us to have enough money. Right. And if you sell now, you're probably not going to get the perfect price for your home, are you? No. Is the house you're buying more expensive or less expensive? It's more expensive. So if the market goes up 10% on your house, it's worth $50,000, but you're buying $800,000 home. So you get $50,000, but you lose $80,000, so you're net negative $30,000. Oh, well, we never thought of it like that. Yeah. And if prices accelerate up faster, you might be net down $100,000 because you might not be able to buy the house that you can buy today. Oh, shit. Well, job and uncertainty just came out. Right. We were off by 200,000 new jobs. The administration made a mistake in their outlook. So do you think that's going to create more uncertainty or less uncertainty in the market right now? More uncertainty. So do you think you'd get a better deal on the bigger home today or in 6 months when those numbers are fixed? Well, probably now, right? And if those job creation market numbers are still low, in 3 months, in 4 months, in 5 months, in 6 months, we might see an interest rate drop sooner than later, which means you might have less time to get into your future home before prices go back up. Oh, I never thought of that. Well, that's why we sit down to talk to you, because I want you to make the best decision possible. What are you feeling right now you should do? Well, I think we should probably get serious, honey. I mean, we're in safe jobs. We're in a good market. We're financially stable. Okay. And do you see how now we've alleviated the stress, everybody? But who answered all the questions? Me or them?
Them.
When they answer the questions, who owns the answer? Me or them?
Them.
When they say they need to do something, whose decision was it, mine or theirs?
Theirs. And then it makes it a good one in their eyes.
And do you see how we go from commitment issues to they're overly committed and they are bugging you to get into properties versus you bugging them? They're chasing you down. Hey, Vic, we saw this. Hey, Vic, we saw that. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you, you're like, y'all need to chill out a little bit here. It's 11 o'clock at night. Take a chill pill, y'all. I'm sleeping. And they're sending you buckets of properties all over the place. Why? Because they made the decision that now's the right time for them and their family to buy, instead of you forcing it on them. And all it took was 67 minutes of your time. And it probably takes a few hours of studying the buyer consult. Can we do this? Do we want to do this? Do your clients deserve this? Do you see how you don't have to talk about yourself, and how when you say the word I, it actually lowers your value instead of increases your value? How many of you guys need to go back and study module 3 and 4 so you understand the psychology and you, right? Because a lot of us want to talk about like all these things, like, oh, I want this, I want that, but we don't want to do the work. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest NBA players in the history of time, will go down as one of the greatest in all time and will die as one of the greatest of all times. Do you think he worked more than the guy that you don't know about that was on the what team with the Bulls? Do you think he outworked those guys every day? Did he have more time on the court every game? Was he more tired after each game than everybody else because he played more? If he had a bad game, do you think he slept that night, or do you think he went back and watched his tape, practiced, read the playbook, looked at his stats, practiced, worked out? Or do you think he just was like, oh, it's a shitty day, I'm going to just go call it? The reason why the greats are the greats is because they're willing to do what most people are not willing to do. And the longer you're willing to sit in the uncomfortableness, right, TJ? I just want to get through it. I feel uncomfortable sometimes. I'm just trying to rush through it. I don't know if they like what I'm saying. It makes me feel uncomfortable, right? Asking these questions. Sometimes I think that they're trying to rush me. Y'all, we all go through that feeling when we start a new process. The question is, are you willing to do it enough times in real time and in fake time, practice time, so that you get the comfort, so that when you actually show up the 10th, the 15th, the 20th, maybe it takes you 50 times. Maybe it takes you a year and a half to get really, really confident. Are you willing to keep trying and trying and trying? Are you going to give up after a week? I've rewritten my sales script, you guys, probably 100 times in the last 4 years. And they're all great. They're all great. But I know that there's a little 2 millimeter tweak that'll allow me to help more people. But then I got to go practice it. Sometimes we make mistakes and the person who should have bought didn't. And you're like, damn, why didn't they buy? And you review. And I don't say, well, it was the leads, and I don't say it was the market, and I don't say it was, some arbitrary thing. I always say it was because I didn't do a good enough job. And that ownership allows me to get better the next time. I would love to have 100% close rate. I'd love for you to. But you got to go through it. It's 40 pages. If you can listen and memorize your favorite movie script, you can memorize this. After you've memorized it and you've used it a few times, it becomes second nature, and then it becomes yours to authentically deliver it. But until you have it memorized, just like an actor memorizing their lines in their trailer, getting paid millions of dollars for your entertainment, we all love Netflix, we have to memorize it first to internalize it second. And it's a process. It might take 3 months. It might take 3 weeks. It might take you 9 months. It might take you a year and a half. I don't know. But every time you'll get a small bit better. All right. In the chat real quick takeaway. In the chat real quick takeaway. I know we went over 9 minutes, but quick takeaway in the chat real quick. For those of you who joined us live on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, throw me in the comment section a quick takeaway, and I will see you all later.